up, guys? I'm Goth1200 here, and today we've got the first episode of this podcast, and I'm here with VFL Dan, or Dan, as you probably know him. I don't know, whatever. But hello, Dan.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
All right, excellent. So, anyway, I'm just going to kick it off straight away because I mentioned in the first video that I'm going to talk to you about the songs just very quickly. Now, I'm just going to say them and just quickly get that over and done with, and I'll just briefly explain about them as well. The first song is Jungle by Tash Sultana. The second song is Falcon Eye by Off Bloom. Third song is Slip Away by Perfume Genius. Fourth song is Stay With Me by The Amazons. Fifth song is Dangerous by VXX. And I've lost count now, but anyway, the next song is Ça va pas la tête, Tem Tan. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that's French. Star Roving by Slow Dive, and the last one is Automatic New Edit in brackets by Mondo Cosmo, and they're the new songs in the beta. So yeah, if you do have Spotify or anything, they're all on my FIFA playlist at the very end. So do follow me on that. It's I'm not doing a shout out for me on Spotify because that's my personal account, but if you happen to have Spotify, I'll put that in the description because those songs are at the end. But anyway, so that's all the songs. So Dan, do you want to start off with the first question?
Yes, definitely. So, what is your overall first impressions of playing the beta?
My first impression? Ooh, okay. So, well, the game feels much smoother. You know, I can definitely see the players actually have a weight to them, like momentum, when they actually play. Because often when I go into, like, challenges and stuff, when I have the control of the ball, you often, like, the 2-on-2, like, or the 1-on-1 even, player tussles that they have, but they introduced to FIFA quite a while ago. They've definitely improved that. It's much more realistic because you don't have the random pulling of the shirt. Like the shirt pulling looks a bit weird, doesn't it, on this FIFA? Whereas now they've definitely rounded that out. It looks better now. You know, and with the player momentum, like I said, it's much more like finer tuned. So, you know, a lot of the time you'd get players just randomly falling over sometimes when they just get tapped off the ball. Whereas now it does seem like they do need to actually get pushed to then fall over. Now, I'm not sure you could say that's realistic, but in terms of the player engine and the actual design of the game, they have done very well to actually smooth that out. Also, the ball physics as well has definitely improved. So I'm going to slightly mention goalkeepers here. There's no like flying off saves. So well, that's what I like to call them. What I mean by that is, a lot of the time on FIFA 17 and 16, keepers would make saves that are completely stupid to the ball momentum and the type of physics that, like the trajectory of the ball, how they would react and stuff. So when they make a save, often you'd find like they'd do a quick reaction save, and it would then go flying in the complete opposite direction just because EA doesn't want you to score that goal or something like that. Now, I haven't seen any of that yet in FIFA 18, which is great. So that's all good. But yeah, so that's pretty much that on the ball physics. Also, mentioning goalkeepers again, there are actually more saves closer to the ground. So a lot of you will know that I get really, really annoyed, especially just playing normally, just let alone online and stuff. There's an animation that the keepers just don't do, just don't do on FIFA 17, and then that's when you shoot near the goalkeeper's feet, and it's literally right next to them, but EA just hadn't put in an animation, so often they would let the goal in, and these type of shots, it would look literally like P-rollers on the floor, and they just wouldn't save them just because EA hadn't put an animation in, so it looked like a stupid, silly goal, and they'd just be like, the goalkeepers would act like it's flown past them at 100 million miles an hour, when actually, in fact, it's a P-roller. Whereas now, they've added in a couple of new animations. I've already seen new animations I've played like 3 games, and I've already seen new animations for like the floor type saves that are right next to them, and they do look nice, they look very good, and it looks very good with the new ball physics as well, which I can tell. But anyway, that's pretty much my first impressions.
Very interesting, that's good, that's good.
Have you got another question?
Yeah, I've got another question. Yeah, what about like the graphics of like the players' faces? Is it in detail? Is it more changed?
Well, the
Does
graphics.
it feel like real life?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely improved. When we say about the, if you guys have actually watched a lot of the videos that EA have officially released, and like a lot of the interviews that professional people they've had and received, they talked about I'm not sure what it's officially called, but it's basically when they designed the game. I'll tell you what, let me start that again. When
once there was a girl who want.
As a player, when you go to do something, let's say you're dribbling with the ball, and then you go to jolt right, and often you'd find your player would jolt with it, so to speak, and not look quite right, as in all of a sudden his arm would slightly teleport about a metre in front of him, or well, not a metre, but probably about half a metre in front of him, and it looked a bit weird, and they're like their bodies would like do some weird like contortion to be able to do that, whereas now they've put in lots of little animations, lots of little like samples, almost like as if you were to sample it, but the opposite of sampling, to then actually make it a lot more smoother. And you can tell because it feels like a slower game now because of those animations. You actually have to plan a lot farther ahead. You have to track a lot more players because you know that they're going to come at you when you're in possession of the ball. But because of these like little animations, you've got to prepare for the eventuality that they will come and close you down. So you've got to prepare, and you know those animations make the game a bit more exciting because you don't really know what to expect. You don't know what type of touch your player is actually going to do properly when you're just standing still. So that makes it interesting with the graphics and the animation side of things. But yeah, with the player faces, I haven't seen too much of an improvement. I mean, I've seen Wenger's face, and that's I think that's exactly the same as FIFA 17, to be honest. Not much has changed there. But yeah, that's pretty much that for the player faces.
That's good. It's just more getting more like to the realistic stage of the gameplay side, really, than like what you were saying about the touches and that. Getting more dynamic and fluid. Basically, defending, you can't tell what they're going to do. They're either going to go left or either going to go right. So you can't tell. That's good. Really cool.
Well, yeah. Also, I'd like to add to that as well. There's a lot of you know the fake shots ability, or not ability. When you would fake shot as a player, often it would mean you either have a really good first touch or a really bad first touch, and a lot of people would do that because of just the way they play, and they would often get into the habit of doing a fake shot for their first touch as a player. There's a new fake shot which when you do it in the opposite direction of your players facing it, it's much smoother and it's much quicker, and it just looks like a literal real player is doing that right in front of you. It doesn't look like jolty like we said before, like I mentioned before. The new animations have come in and it looks so good, it really does. And you guys will know what I mean as soon as you start playing the game. If you do that back to front fake shot, it looks so smooth, and the players that are smaller and have better acceleration because of these new animations, these new little things. They're those smaller, agile players that can accelerate quickly. Like, for example, Pedro isn't the fastest of players on FIFA. In real life, it's a different story, but on FIFA. But now he does seem that little bit more quicker on the ball. And I don't mean that in like a straight line. When you just run with him between players, you try and dribble with him, it seems a lot more realistic because you can actually, especially using the fake shot as well, you can go past so many players, it's ridiculous. But if you use it right anyway, which I'm trying to master, I'm not quite there yet. But it looks so good. It looks so good. So yeah, those little animations, we're probably gonna come back to that quite a lot because that is a big thing. Looks really good. So yeah.
Yeah, because everybody wants to know like what's it's like all the new graphics and everything with it, and the new features.
Yeah.
Talking of new features, what do you think of the new, obviously, dynamic quick subs they've improved?
Oh yeah. So yeah, the quick subs. Now I'm not really sure about this. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but the direction they've gone in is a bit awkward. So like with the quick subs, it does work, but it only gives you suggestion, and you can only choose to do yes. You can only choose to accept it or decline it. You can't choose to modify that suggestion once you do it. So, for example, I'm a Chelsea fan. I played as Chelsea, and a lot of you will know that Azpilicueta, the centre back, can play as a right back and a left back as well, or right wing back or a left wing back as well. And my right wing back Moses, it suggested to bring him off, which was fine, and I wanted to bring on Rudiger, who's a new signing for Chelsea. Wanted to bring him on, and that's fine, but it wouldn't let me bring him on and then change Azpilicueta to that right wing back role, which what I wanted to do, and which word I can't speak. That would
Kid can't even read.
Cut it out, dude. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Today, Junior?
That would be what would happen in real life. So you want to be able to change Azpilicueta to that right wing back as soon as you take that right wing back off, and then put Rudiger in the centre back role to make that to fill that position. And you can't do that on that quick subs, which is kind of annoying. But it kind of worked. The only time it actually worked properly for me is when I just wanted to bring on Morata for Batshuayi, because I started Batshuayi and Batshuayi was getting tired, and it suggested Morata, and I thought, you know what, yeah, bring him on, fine. And that's when I did that, and it does look better, because also with the substitutions, your manager actually comes to the touchline and starts directing the players what to do. You can see him pointing and stuff, which is cool. Yeah. And then when the players actually do come on, they point at players a lot more, and they tell them like back off and do some actions, waving his arms. You know, looks proper real. They've definitely looked at the substitution mechanics in real life games a lot more, which is great, really. So yeah.
Also, just touching on that point that you're saying about the substitutes and that, do you think they could add in like a feature? Obviously you got the managers like waving their arms, but the manager and like the players talking to the players saying, move to this position. Like, you know, for example, say Azpilicueta talking to Rudiger and say, look, you need to play centre back and I play right wing back, like something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, if they could manage to do that suggestion thing and then do another suggestion after that, maybe, or something that would show, because obviously FIFA knows that Azpilicueta can play right back and left back, and they know what formation I'm playing, so surely they would just be able to say, well, a suggestion is here, you're putting a centre-back on in the right-back position. Would you want to move your current centre-back that can play right-back to that right-back position? And that would make sense. And that would be one thing that would be good. That would make it useful, and I'd definitely say I'd use it a lot more if that was the case.
Yeah, even like the little hand signals as well. Like that'd be good. Like if you do like the two options, like two hand signals, like obviously the substitution and then the other one.
Yeah.
Just say move. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the camera angles? The different like shots, more like blockbuster camera shots.
Oh, the camera angles, yeah. I mean, camera angles have changed, but not so much that you notice terribly, really. I mean, one thing I will say though is it's kind of like camera angles, but the way the spectacular goals, those of you that have seen the videos that I mentioned before, spectacular goals, they're saying you can actually score nicer goals now, and I had a hint that finesse shots are going to become quite OP, and that's not a good thing, because we all know that Courtois is a beast in goal in FIFA, and I think I was playing against Everton, and it was against Rooney, and Rooney just took a finesse shot outside the box, and you can't chip a keeper that's 6'6" when he's on the line. That didn't make sense, and Rooney managed to do that with just a normal finesse shot, let alone a chip shot, a finesse shot. Just literally just bent it slightly around him, but it pretty much went over him and it went in. So I've got a feeling that finesse shots are going to be very, very OP. But the reason why I say that's kind of linked to camera angles, because the new camera angles they have got kind of show, they kind of like almost follow the ball sometimes. Especially the finesse shots, when they are scored from long range, you do have that better angle, you have that more of a down to the side of the player type view, so you can actually see the bend of the ball a lot more. But yeah, that's the only new camera angle I've seen at the moment. But yeah, so that's pretty much that regarding camera angles and OP-ness of finesse shots.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So it'd be more like OP like FIFA 12 days.
To be honest, I'm not sure it's going to be quite like that, because I think the shot power is right at the moment, if that makes sense. Whereas on FIFA, was it 12 and 13, when the finesse shots were ridiculously OP, all you had to do is have someone with shot power over 80, and you would pretty much score every single finesse shot. If you had the curve as well over 80, and long shots even. If you had done 3 stats over 80, you could score most finesse shots. Whereas now, I'm not sure it's quite like that. You don't need curve. I've noticed a couple of players that have shot with like 60 curve and managed to curve it quite nicely with finesse shots. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I think curve might be used more for actual free kicks rather than finesse shots, but I don't know. But yeah, so it's an awkward one, really.
Yeah, touching on the free kicks, is there any like new system with that, and the penalties, or is it the score?
So yeah, the free kicks haven't actually changed at all. There's a new tutorial in terms of there's new graphics to tell you how to take a free kick and stuff and the different combinations you can do. But other than that, it's not really anything new. I took it with Hazard, and he still has that side kick, free kick animation. And I took it with David Luiz, and he still has that long run-up animation. So you can take it with Willian as well. He still does it from that normal angle that most default players take it from. So yeah, there's nothing's really changed. But in terms of the penalties, this is an interesting one. Now, we all know about this ABBA penalty system, and FIFA hasn't got it, which is a bit controversial, really, because why wouldn't you have that if you're introducing that to your own game? It would be a bit odd playing a career mode. Let's say you're in the FA Cup final, and it goes down to penalties, and you expect the ABBA system because you might have seen it in real life this season. Then you go to play it, and it's just the ABBA system, and you just think, well, that's a bit weird. You know, why would they not have that in the game? It can't take much to program, surely, because you just change the order, don't you? And then, you know, I don't know, exactly. But I'm not a programmer, but it doesn't seem too hard. I mean, that can't be the hardest thing to do in comparison to the amount of other things they do, like the mini animations and stuff, like we've mentioned. You know, so that kind of raises more questions than it answers, to be honest, in terms of the penalties. But the penalties itself, no, hasn't changed again, like the free kicks. So so yeah, that's pretty much that. And I think that's the end of everything.
Yeah.
Are you good, Dan? Yep, excellent. Okay, so that is going to be the end of the episode, guys. Dan, do you have anything more to add?
No, that's it. Just this thank you and appreciation from Matt to let me join on his channel.
All right, excellent. Well, no problem, Dan. Welcome as always. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thanks so much for watching. I've been mgoff1200 with VFL Dan, and please stay tuned for the next video. I'm hoping it's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to try and get as much content out for you guys as possible, because obviously we all want to know what FIFA 18 is going to be like. So anyway, I've been mgoff1200. Thanks again, and I'll see you again soon.